I feel very lucky because I was diagnosed happenstance. I was getting a scan for breast cancer, and they found a hot spot on my lung, which I didn't even know what it meant until that was explained to me. Oh, you smoked, therefore, yeah, not surprising.
Yeah.
And then they went in and they found more.
How long ago, remind me, had you quit smoking?
I'd stopped when I was 32 or 33.
Right. So it's been roughly 30 years
Yes.
since the last cigarette that you had.
Yes.
And you have this diagnosis of lung cancer. Was that something hard to wrap your head around, that this could actually happen 30 years later?
Yes, actually there is.
Yeah.
I have been hearing for years, even though I could recuperate, so to speak, from having smoked,
Yeah.
that I have now set myself up for, in my family, pancreatic cancer, lung cancer, et cetera, because I had smoked.
Yeah.
And that's something I regularly heard from a medical person for years.
Right.
So it was, okay, I did this to myself.
I think a lot of us still think that lung cancer is exclusively found only in smokers, but the majority of my patients now are just like you. They quit 20, 30 years ago, and for reasons that we don't entirely understand, there's still challenges that exist for patients who smoke for 5 or 10 years, and there are challenges for people who have genetic predisposition or are never touching a cigarette who develop lung cancer. And importantly, we don't know how to screen patients like you. We don't really have great modalities to monitor and screen and pick these up earlier. So you had already had surgery. We were then going to give 4 cycles of chemo, followed by 5 to 6 weeks of radiation.
The actual getting chemo itself, the nausea was not pleasant.
Right.
I found an acupuncturist. I recommend it across the board.
It's amazing. How many patients tell me that acupuncture for
Yeah.
their nausea?
It helps so much.
So we went through chemotherapy. Excuse me. You went through chemotherapy, and I mean,
I did feel like I had a partner in all
Yes,
this.
yes.
It's okay to say we.
Okay, so we go through chemotherapy and radiation, and then we get to the interesting sciencey part of this, which is that we're now starting to understand that lung cancer is not just one disease, but has certain genes. And if you have a right gene, you can get a targeted therapy. And so we talked about the clinical trial. You decided to go on it, and were fortunately randomized to receiving the pill, which you currently still on. Can you talk about that?
I'm the kind of person that wants to help people.
Yeah.
So it was an easy decision for me. Plus, it might help me.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, in the long run, it's got the do-good factor,
Yes.
which makes me comfortable, and it's got the helps me factor, which is pretty good.
Yeah. We talked a lot about the anxiety and the challenges that exist. Are there any coping strategies personally that you've used going through this?
I'm sitting here after the fact, and I'm getting emotional. So it's still in me in ways I didn't think it was, frankly, because I've not really talked about this before. I think I just put my faith in you. You said I'm going to be cured. Just have to get there, get over the hill. Life is a series of hurdles in many ways, and this is just another
Another hurdle.
Yeah.